From a poor girl raised in a 300-square-foot public housing unit, she shot to fame as Miss Hong Kong in 2010, then moved into a 3,000-square-foot villa in Khao Tashan, owned by a tycoon worth around 1 billion Hong Kong dollars. Rent, $72,000 a month. And yet today, at the age of 38, she quietly pulls her suitcase and leaves, returning alone to a 500-square-foot apartment in Wong Tai Sin. 8 years of youth, wagered on a dream of marrying into wealth. And what did she get in return? Well, the truth behind this breakup is far more bitter than what she said in front of the camera. 5 publicly exposed affairs. The best friend she personally introduced became her boyfriend's lover. A wild party? Thrown right inside her former villa, only a few weeks after she moved out. What really happened to Toby Chan? Was she the victim? Or is she paying the price for the choices she made? Let's uncover it together in today's video. You've probably heard the name Toby Chan before. She was born on August 27, 1987 in Hong Kong, with ancestral roots in Shunde, Guangdong. She was the only child in her family and grew up in the Wong Chuk Hang Police Married Quarters. Her father, a Hong Kong police officer. After he retired, the family moved to a public housing unit at Kai Ching Estate in Kowloon Bay, an apartment of only about 300 square feet. To put it plainly, she did not come from wealth. No powerful backing, no prestigious family name, just a decent, stable civil servant household. But here's the thing. What made Toby Chan stand out was that she wasn't the kind of beauty queen who had only looks. She once studied at Kanasa School, then went to the United Kingdom for boarding school in North Wales. Before graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Science from the University of Manchester between 2006 and 2009. Before entering show business, she worked as a researcher for a manpower supply company, worked as a suit specialist for a men's fashion brand, and even opened a Japanese restaurant in Causeway Bay in 2011. In short, Toby Chan was an educated young woman with work experience and a business instinct. By all accounts, her future should have been wide open. The turning point came on August 1st, 2010, at the Hong Kong Coliseum, during the Miss Hong Kong final. That year, the organizers relaxed the entry requirements, raising the age limit to 27, and even models under contract were allowed to compete. Before the final night, public attention was focused on contestant number 8 and contestant number 11, the 2 women considered to have the most standard beauty pageant faces. Toby Chan, wearing number 13, was hardly expected by anyone to make the top 3. And yet when the results were announced, the entire arena was stunned. She not only won the Miss Hong Kong crown, but also took home Miss International Goodwill and Tourism Ambassador, becoming the winner of 3 titles in one night. That unexpected victory immediately triggered a massive wave of suspicion. Online communities erupted on the organizers' official website. Some people bluntly said that Miss Hong Kong was no longer about beauty and intelligence going hand in hand, but about backstage connections and family background going hand in hand. Some even gave her an unflattering nickname, calling her the bony Miss Hong Kong, mocking her appearance as unworthy of the crown. At the same time, rumors spread that she had a close relationship with Wang Junda, the heir of Hong Tai Travel, and that the company happened to be one of the main sponsors of the pageant. Rumors of behind-the-scenes support spread like wildfire. Facing the storm of public criticism, Toby Chan showed remarkable toughness. She confidently declared that she'd won because she was well-balanced, performed well in every aspect, and that's why she'd been chosen. One might have thought that once she had the crown, everything else would fall into place. But Toby Chan's acting career at TVB was not paved with roses the way the Miss Hong Kong title seemed to promise. After signing with TVB, she began taking roles in 2011 with the variety program Yummy Yummy. In 2012, she landed her first television drama role in Friendly Fire, with a character name that made people shake their heads, Pretty Girl. It wasn't even a real name, just a decorative vase of a role. In the years that followed, she kept playing second and third-tier supporting roles. The mistress, the ex-wife, the ex-girlfriend, dressed in revealing outfits, creating minor romantic conflicts just to get a little screen time. Even stranger, within TVB circles, she had a rather unflattering nickname, TVB's go-to death scene actress, meaning she specialized in roles where her characters died. In Brothers Keeper 2, she played the female bodyguard Louis Wai-bing, only to die after appearing in just a few scenes. In Take 2, she didn't even get the chance to appear as a living character. She went straight on screen as a memorial portrait, followed by a bathtub suicide scene. Rumor had it that the reason she was repeatedly arranged to die on screen had something to do with the many times she misspoke on Scoop, angering senior management, a silent form of punishment. Even so, her hosting work on Scoop beginning in 2016 saved her career. With daily primetime broadcasts, even though she couldn't become a first-tier actress, she still maintained steady exposure and earned the title of the Goddess of Scoop. The most memorable moment came during the Mid-Autumn Festival in 2016. While talking about the holiday, she accidentally reversed the words and said, "eating lanterns and playing with mooncakes," instead of playing with lanterns and eating mooncakes. Those 6 Chinese characters instantly became an internet catchphrase of 2016, even making it into the top 7 ranking of foolish incidents on mainland social media. Every year when Mid-Autumn Festival comes around, netizens bring that moment up again. But then everything gradually began to drift off course, and the beginning of it came from Toby Chan's ambition to move beyond her career. When her acting career failed to break through, she began paying more attention to romance, and the public quickly noticed a clear pattern in her relationships. Her first known romance was with William Chak, the 2010 Mr. Hong Kong winner, a secret relationship that lasted 5 years. The two never publicly admitted it, and Toby Chan was the one who took the initiative to end things, to put it bluntly. The reason was that she didn't see a future, because William Chak's financial situation and career at TVB didn't meet the expectations she had for her life. By 2017, she was photographed going to the movies with prominent lawyer Warren Tong, a man with far superior financial means. What made it controversial was that Warren Tong already had an official girlfriend at the time, a model named Candace. Toby Chan was suspected of interfering in someone else's relationship, but she firmly denied it. Still, one trajectory was becoming increasingly obvious. From an ordinary entertainer like William Chak to a wealthy lawyer like Warren Tong, her standards for choosing a boyfriend were rising. Very quickly, netizens began attaching harsh labels to her, calling her materialistic, even a gold digger. And the peak of that material game was the appearance of Yeung, the owner of the local cosmetics brand Choi Fung Hong, the man the media labeled a tycoon worth around 1 billion Hong Kong dollars. His own rise had a legendary quality to it. Born in a public housing estate in Tuen Mun, he scored a perfect 0 on the Hong Kong Certificate of Education examination, failing every single subject. He once had to work as a construction laborer, carrying cement and stones under the sun and rain. In 1995, when he was only about 17 or 18 years old, he and his mother pooled together more than 100,000 Hong Kong dollars in savings and founded Choi Fung Hong, a company specializing in wholesale cosmetics. Through self-study and constant experimentation, he was personally involved in the research and development of nearly 90% of the company's products. Choi Fung Hong's sales strategy was extremely simple, affordable, effective, and good value. Its flagship product, a sugarcane shower gel, sold in a 1-liter bottle for only 30 Hong Kong dollars. More than 1 million bottles were sold each year, and people in the industry called it a killer product. Instead of renting expensive street-level storefronts, he chose cheaper upstairs shops in Mong Kok. He hired no brand ambassadors, ran no advertisements, and poured all the money he saved into lowering product prices. Founded in 1995 at its peak, the company had around 35 branches across Hong Kong and Macau, with annual revenue exceeding 100 million Hong Kong dollars. From a boy who grew up in public housing, worked as a construction laborer, and scored 0 on his public exam, he became the owner of a cosmetics chain with an estimated fortune of around 1 billion Hong Kong dollars, or about 130 million US dollars. In 2017, the two began dating, and by 2018, their relationship was officially made public. Unlike in the past, when she'd always denied everything, this time she posted a photo on Instagram with the hashtag "showing off my boyfriend for the first time in my life." Her life changed at a dizzying speed. From her public housing home at Kai Ching Estate, she moved into an apartment at the Cullinan Kowloon Station, which Benny had purchased in 2017 for 44.38 million Hong Kong dollars. The unit had a usable area of 1,035 square feet and 3 bedrooms. By 2021, the two had moved into a detached house at Wun Fung Villa in Khao Toshan, Sha Tin, with a usable area of 3,003 square feet, 4 bedrooms, a private garden, a rooftop, and a spacious garage. The monthly rent? Around 72,000 Hong Kong dollars, about 9,200 US dollars. At that time, Toby Chan's life seemed to be soaring. She constantly showed off luxury goods on Instagram, traveled lavishly across Asia, dined at some of the most expensive restaurants in Hong Kong, and wherever she went, someone was always there to pick her up and drop her off. In 2019, Benny invested millions of Hong Kong dollars to open a gym and made her the brand ambassador. On paper, it was a business partnership. In reality, it was a disguised way of giving money to his girlfriend. That same year, she confidently told the media that her boyfriend already had a plan to get married in 2 years, and that she didn't mind becoming a stepmother to Benny's 2 children from his ex-wife, a ballet teacher named Macy. The key to those glorious days? Benny's enormous financial protection, and her constant media exposure as the 1 billion Hong Kong dollar girlfriend. Everyone thought Toby Chan was just one step away from entering the gates of a wealthy family. But behind that glittering surface, a shocking truth was slowly being exposed. Everything began to turn when the first cracks appeared in 2019. The first scandal? Benny was accused of having an ambiguous relationship with a woman named A.U., who was said to be Toby Chan's close friend. Someone plastered big character posters on the streets, and even outside Benny's cosmetics store, with blunt insults written clearly on them. Shameless man and woman, the worst man of the century, and even a mocking jab at Toby Chan, calling her a stupid Miss Hong Kong. That kind of underworld-style behavior made one thing very clear. This was not an ordinary wealthy family dispute. But it didn't stop there. What followed was a string of scandals, one after another. A magazine revealed that Benny had gone to the movies and dinner with Chan Kit-ling, a former Miss Hong Kong 2012 contestant who didn't place, known as a Michelle Chen lookalike. The two were often seen meeting at the gym in Khao Toshan. By 2020, things became even more complicated when Jathy, the CEO of a beauty group and the ex-girlfriend of TVB actor Alex Tse, publicly announced that she was pregnant and demanded that Benny acknowledge he was the father of the child. It was a tangled mess, even more complicated than a TVB palace drama. And if you think that was already enough, it wasn't. The real knife in the back came from her own close friend. Toby Chan had a friend named Choi Fung Hong, whom she personally introduced to a bar Benny had invested in, so she could do marketing and promotion there. Who could have imagined that this enthusiastic introduction would become a betrayal? The two gradually began dating in secret at the bar, and in the end, Toby Chan caught them with her own eyes. Can you imagine that scene? Introducing your closest friend to your boyfriend with your own hands, only for the two of them to get involved and hide it from you. After the incident, Toby Chan angrily declared that Choi Fung Hong was not her close friend, and bluntly called her an indecent woman. According to the media, to calm his girlfriend down, Benny gave her a series of expensive gifts along with a red BMW, the very car she would later continue driving to work after the breakup. By 2022, at a pier, paparazzi photographed Benny boarding a yacht with a young blonde woman and heading out to sea. The two took intimate selfies, wore matching outfits, and happily enjoyed themselves until the afternoon before returning. This had already become the fifth public affair. Faced with one scandal after another, Toby Chan's reaction almost always followed the same pattern. First came denial, saying they were only friends. Then came the defense of her boyfriend, with the classic line, "Friends are either men or women. What's so strange about that?" A few days later, she would post affectionate photos on social media to prove that the relationship was still solid. This pattern repeated so many times that netizens eventually became numb just from watching it. The second worst scandal she was accidentally dragged into wasn't about romance at all. It was the COVID mask incident in 2020. At the time, Hong Kong was suffering from a severe mask shortage, and Choi Fung Hong announced on Facebook that masks were available for sale. As soon as the news came out, long lines of hundreds of people appeared outside its branches. At the Mongkok location alone, the line stretched from the 17th floor all the way down to the 5th floor through the back staircase, a scene that looked almost like a protest march. In just half a day, everything was sold out. A large number of people were unhappy. Some criticized Toby Chan, accusing her of making it sound as if masks would be available, only for customers to show up and find nothing left. Choi Fung Hong was accused of raising prices on the spot, offering limited quantities, and selling products of questionable quality. She was the boss's girlfriend, and suddenly, she'd become the spokesperson for a mask-selling farce. Public reaction at the time was extremely negative. People attacked Toby Chan first online. One comment read, "Is Miss Hong Kong helping the boss make money off the pandemic too?" Another wrote, "So the 1 billion Hong Kong dollar girlfriend is now the 10,000 mask girlfriend?" Her way of handling it somehow made things even worse in a very particular way. She publicly apologized for the mask incident, but at the same time denied any price gouging, meaning she was both taking responsibility and defending Choi Fung Hong. The incident caused serious damage to Choi Fung Hong's brand image, and Toby Chan's public image was dragged down with it. But the worst of it still hadn't ended. The real climax came at the end of 2025. After years of using every possible way to hold on to a relationship already full of cracks, she still couldn't keep this man. Around September to October 2025, the two quietly broke up. No dramatic confrontation, no loud argument, no scene of catching anyone in bed. It was simply that she felt it was time to break up, and so they broke up. She quietly moved out of the Toby Chan villa and returned to the apartment she'd bought herself in 2020. The contrast was so brutal, it was almost frightening. From a 3,000 square foot detached villa, she retreated to a 500 square foot apartment. From having a driver pick her up and drop her off, she was now driving herself to the supermarket. Reporters photographed her after work going with colleagues to a modest street-side cha-chan teng. The three of them ordered 3 plates of rice to share, finished eating in a total of 45 minutes. And then she drove herself back to her apartment, alone, in the red BMW. The last remaining gift from that relationship. On December 29th, 2025, at the press conference for TVB's new program, The Joy Sisters in Simsha Tsui, she finally publicly admitted the breakup. Facing the reporters' cameras, her eyes were red. She raised her hand to wipe the corner of her eye, but quickly regained her composure. The reason she gave was that their worldviews no longer aligned, that they understood each other, yet didn't truly understand each other. There was no third party. And it wasn't because she'd pressured him into marriage. The line that moved many people the most was this: after loving someone for 8 years, at some point, she felt she was slowly losing herself. TVB reporter Wang Zhenquan continued with a private interview that lasted more than 10 minutes. Throughout the interview, she choked up several times, her eyes red, her lips trembling as she tried to hold back tears. When he asked, "Maybe both of you worked very hard to hold this relationship together, right?" she blurted out, "I for one certainly did." An answer that left viewers heartbroken, because the implication was that the other person might not have done the same. The reaction from netizens swung fiercely in the opposite direction. They didn't boycott her. Instead, they turned their criticism toward Benny. Eastweek magazine investigated and found that the real truth behind the breakup was far more surprising than the explanation that their worldviews no longer aligned. According to a source close to Toby Chan, the reason she decided to cut things off was that Benny's female connections were simply too extensive, and he showed no restraint at all. New women kept throwing themselves at him like moths to a flame, one after another, until she could no longer bear it. She decided that before turning 40, she had to make a clean break and stop waiting for someone who'd never truly belonged to her in the first place. And right after the breakup, the way the two of them behaved created a cruel contrast. While Toby Chan quietly tried to heal her wounds and pour her energy into work, Benny immediately flew to Japan to enjoy car racing, then went diving in Bali, then traveled to Shangri-La to visit Jade Dragon Snow Mountain and Tiger Leaping Gorge. December 2025 was both Christmas season and his birthday month. Besides celebrating with his family, he also held a wild party, right inside the Khao Tushan villa. According to an investigation by Eastweek magazine, the party was described as wild, with controversial behavior from several drunken guests. Benny himself was also said to have hugged different new female companions and danced intimately with them. As the media described it, every day there seemed to be new women surrounding him, and that wasn't all. At nearly 50 years old, in order to prepare for his return to the dating market, he not only worked out diligently at the gym, but also underwent subtle cosmetic enhancements. To him, 8 years of love seemed no different from turning a calendar page. To her, it was an entire youth and a shattered dream. That contrast was truly cruel. Although Toby Chan is now trying to pull herself back up with all the strength she has, the sad truth is that her belief in marrying into a wealthy family has completely fallen apart. The price she paid? The most golden stretch of a woman's life, from age 30 to 38, passing by in hopeless waiting. However, the smart thing about her was that she never bet everything on one man. She still had her own apartment, bought with her savings before she moved into the wealthy man's villa. She still had a stable hosting job on Scoop. She still had a chance to start over. At the beginning of 2026, she threw herself into work and a new sport as a way to heal. She quickly became one of Hong Kong's pickleball enthusiasts. On January 15th, 2026, she posted a photo and accidentally captured Kyung To, one of Hong Kong's top stars, leaning against the railing behind her, his eyes fixed firmly on her. By March 22, 2026, she, Kelvin Kwan, and Xu Junhao won the championship at the celebrity charity pickleball tournament at East Point City. The media also refused to leave her new romantic life alone. There were rumors that she'd become close to Tsang Kam-san, the 27-year-old young host of Scoop and her colleague at the same station. At a year-end party organized by TVB in early 2026, Eastweek investigated and found that the two stayed close to each other throughout the entire evening, exchanging looks full of hidden meaning. Even more notably, at the end of March 2026, she appeared at a dinner party with a shocking face. Her extremely tiny, mini nose led netizens to speculate that she'd just undergone cosmetic surgery. Then, in April 2026, reports emerged that she'd posted photos celebrating the birthday of her ex-boyfriend William Chak, raising suspicions that an old romance might be rekindled. To some extent, Toby Chan's story is a mirror, reflecting the entire Hong Kong entertainment world. During TVB's golden age, the title of Miss Hong Kong was almost the same as a first-class ticket into stardom. Maggie Cheung, Michelle Race, Anita Yuan. Names that remain dazzling. But by the 2000s, that halo had already faded, and Toby Chan happened to stand right at that turning point, becoming part of the last generation that believed the Miss Hong Kong title could change one's destiny. She bet on both her career and marriage, and lost both. 15 years of acting, circling around second and third tier roles, 8 years of love, all of it slipping through her fingers like water through a sieve. Meanwhile, Benny and his Choi Fung Hong remain in the Tuen Mun Industrial District with 35 branches still lit up. It's just that under the attacks from Japanese and Korean brands and cross-border e-commerce, that light is dimming, little by little. And perhaps that tongue-twisted line that circulated for 10 years, eating lanterns and playing with mooncakes, is the most accurate metaphor for her life. And you, what do you think of Toby Chan's story? Was she a materialistic woman who brought the consequences upon herself, or simply a sincere woman, deceived by a womanizing man? Leave your thoughts in the comments below and let me know. See you in the next video.